What's up? Welcome to Screen Fiend. It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the movie Battle of the Sexes. It's kind of been like the forgotten about movie of all these other movies that have come out. I've even seen Flatliners get more attention than Battle of the Sexes, which is pretty tragic because this is it's a pretty good film. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's they're gonna get the Oscar, but this is Steve Carell's best performance in a long time. It reminds you of the character he played on the show The Office. And what this is really truly about is the actual Bobby Riggs, the former tennis star. He was a tennis champion, male player. And it was the real battle of the sexes. At that time, it was cool to be a misogynist, and women were fighting for equal rights, and Billie Jean King was just the greatest women tennis player on the world. But she was also battling her own personal journey, as they would put it, in her own sexuality and her own world. And the movie started to focus more on that. When I wanted to see more of just Riggs, he was a marketing genius. That's all he did was just stir the pot. He can care less about who won or lost. He was just really stirring the pot. No woman can beat me. He wanted to make it a world televised event, and it was. In 1973, this was the most watched television sports event. He had every sponsor there, from Sugar Daddy to anything else you could find. But they started to focus more on their lives, and Riggs and his wife and his situation, what was going on, her problem, her private struggle, Riggs gambling and everything, his reputation and all this stuff. And he just wants to show, Bobby Riggs, it went away from him, and he doesn't have it anymore. And he wants that spotlight. I think Valerie Ferris and Jonathan Dalton. I've never been a fan of two directors. I've never been a fan of two directors. I think it's sometimes confusing for the actors, but for this, I think it worked. I think it worked perfectly. It's very rare that it works to me, but for this, it looked like it was two movies in one. Whenever there's two directors or multiple directors, the film looked like it's two different type of movies. It seemed like one director was determined to tell the backstories of the character, and while the other director said, "Let me do the actual battle of the sexes match, and let me do that whole press conference," and where it's almost like a documentary. It's almost like watching the film adaptation of what really went down, and that's exactly how it came out. I mean, there are some drawbacks in it. I think Emma Stone is just people are just now seeing how awesome she really is as an actress. She is amazing. Um, I think that I would say it's 2.5 stars out of four, 2.5. I would give it 2.5. It's not a 4-star movie. It's not really that in depth, but Emma Stone is like the splitting image of Billie Jean King, and I think she played a great job. And Steve Carell was great as Bobby Riggs. People don't realize that that's really Bobby Riggs. The problem about his Steve Carell's performance is that he's Steve Carell, and you've seen this character before, but that's exactly how Bobby Riggs really was. So when they casted Steve Carell to play him, I said, "Oh, no one could play this guy but him. He's really Bobby Riggs." That was an easy casting job. So he almost won't get the credit for playing Bobby Riggs because you just think, oh, well, that's Steve Carell being Steve Carell. But yeah, it's a pretty decent movie, man. You'll enjoy it. Go check it out.